Hey guys, so today's vlog is a little special. It's dedicated to my good friend, fellow co-worker, big brother, John. He started watching my vlogs a couple days ago and he asked why he wasn't in them. So, John, this vlog's for you. You guys, you probably remember John from such vlogs as my day at the tattoo parlor and April Fool's. Here's a little something to jog your memory. So, John really likes that song, so. Inspired by John, I thought I would give you guys some tips on how to have fun at work. Mainly because John is a huge prankster. He loves, I don't know, messing with people. So here's some of the ways that we prank each other at work. Remember, all of these pranks you have to do at the right time. You can't just do them, you know, when customers are around or, you know, stuff like that. You gotta pick and choose your prank times. So one of the first ones that was ever done to me when I started was the receipt button. Our cash registers have a button that when you push it, it prints your last receipt. So a favorite one to do around our store is to press the receipt button as many times as you possibly can before the person on that register, you know, can do anything about it. Because what happens when you press that receipt button is it prints and prints and prints and prints and prints until it hits the number of times you hit the button, which means you have to stand there and wait for it to just spit out all these receipts before you can do anything. And here's what you end up with. So another one is switching your coworkers' money in the till. So you wait for them to leave the register. Usually, most of the time, you want to complete these pranks when they're on break, because that's usually the best time, because they won't realize you did anything until they come back. So switching the money in the till goes like this. Here's what your average till looks like. Okay? You have your other, your 20s, your 10s, your 5s, your 1s, your pennies, your nickels, your dimes, your quarters, and other. So when switching a till, what you do is there's a couple ways to do it actually. You can either take all the bills and flip them upside down so that they're face down and all their money's backwards. You can take all the coins and move, for example, the quarters to the pennies to the quarters, the nickels to the dimes, vice versa. Or what you can do is you can take all of the coins and put them in one coin compartment. That really screws you up because you have to sort through all the coins and put them in the right place. So another fun thing to do when your coworker's on their break is to take packing tape or scotch tape or whatever, but you have to make sure it's clear tape. And you put it on the sides of their register so that their register drawer is taped shut. So when they go to get into the register, nothing happens and it doesn't open. And you sit there, you look at your register going, why aren't you opening? Of course, a fun one is always a dead leg. Dead legs are always fun to do your coworkers. Now another one that I think my brother Chris came up with was staple straw. So in this you don't even have to wait for your coworker to be on break. Just make sure they're not looking. And if you have a stapler nearby, just take a stapler and the cup that they're drinking out of. Now this only works if your coworker drinks with a straw, which I do, so it worked. And all you do is you pull the straw out, staple the bottom, and put it back in the cup. Now when your coworker goes to take a drink, the staple will cause, you know, the straw to be closed and nothing comes up, so they're sitting there and nothing's coming out. So that's always a fun one because it takes them longer to realize what's going on. Now this one's brand new. John actually pulled this one on me just the other night and it was really funny. What he did was I was out on break and he took all my pennies in my cash register out and he lined them up on the counter. There was about 15 of them. And he took a piece of scotch tape, rolled it out, put it on the pennies so that they all stuck to the tape, and then linked them back like in a circle. So I essentially had a penny necklace, and you put it back in my drawer. So when I went to help a customer and I opened my drawer, there was this glob of tape and pennies in my drawer, and it was hilarious. Now here's a couple things you do not want to do when you are working. So the first one, my brother Chris did to John. And John, I guess, was over on the other side of the counter stocking something, and Chris was just finishing with a customer behind the counter. Now we have books of matches that we give out for free, and the customer was walking away, and Chris reached over, grabbed a book of matches, and threw it at John. Well, unfortunately for him, the customer he just waited on stopped right in front of Chris, and the matches went, and I guess the customer like reached back and he grabbed it and like looked at Chris like, and Chris was just like, I'm so sorry. So yeah, it's all about timing when you are doing pranks like this. And another one, an ex-coworker of ours did this to Chris, and I would suggest not doing it, not because it's not funny or, you know, anything like that, because it was kind of funny, but it's just so gross. Just don't do it, guys. So what she did was, we had bottles of hand sanitizer on the counter, and when Chris wasn't looking, she took some in her hand and rubbed it on the top of his straw that he was drinking out of. It was nasty, because when he went to take a drink, he was like, and it went everywhere. It was gross. Funny, but gross. So, yeah, if you want to lighten up your workday, there's some tips to prank your fellow coworkers. We do things a little differently just because of the situations we work in with cash registers and coolers and stuff like that. We have to be inventive. Now, I know there's a ton of stuff you can do, like if you work in an office or, you know, something like that. So, John, there you go. Were you in the vlog enough? I hope it made you happy. So, I'll see you guys later.